So this is the story of a person called Sri Maheshwaran Nambudri. I think few of you might also be familiar with this story. Now this Maheshwaran Nambudri who was there, he was the male Shanti, that is the chief priest of the Guruvayur temple in those times. And this Nambudri who was there, he used to live about, you can say, his village or his original house that was there, that was little away from the temple also. And in it was completely in a different town. And in those times what used to happen is the priest who was there was given a period of about 6 months to do the job, and then for the remaining 6 months another priest used to be there. So that's when this priest used to go to his hometown also. Now during that time what happens is, now this priest who was there, he had 4 daughters and he had 1 son, it seems. 2 of his daughters were married off, and he lived in a very, you can say, a middle class or a lower middle class family. It was quite difficult for him to make ends meet, but still somehow whatever he earned, with that he used to run his family. He had 2 more daughters to get married also, his son was there, so he had to take care of his family. That's when a thought comes to his mind saying that the Lord is so wealthy, every day he gets so much money, gold also in the form of bangles, chains, earrings, continuously gold, silver, money is flowing right at the Lord's feet. What if I can save something from this? Anyway, from early morning till night also I am doing seva to the Lord, so I don't think this is something which is wrong. Now this thought comes to his mind, but then he doesn't do this immediately, but slowly and steadily, as the same thought comes to his mind, he transforms that into karma. And one fine day what happens is, he starts putting a few bangles, chains also, and then he carries it, it seems. And where now you can see those male Shantis, they have a kindi, right? That is you can say that water pot that is there, tirtha kindi. In that he puts all this jewels also, and he takes it to his house that is there. And this happens for a few days. When his son used to come to the temple, he used to send all this jewelry also with his son to keep in his house safely. Now in those times what used to happen is, there used to be no cameras, nothing, no monitoring, because there was only trust that is there, and people used to not worry, nothing was documented, nothing of that sort. And every day this thing used to happen. Nobody knew about this stealing that was being done by this Nambudri. Only the Lord of Guruvayur, that is Guruvayurappan, and this Maheshwaran Nambudri knew this. But unfortunately Nambudri felt that only I know about this, even the Lord also is not aware of it. After a few days what happens is, the chief's priest who was there, this chief priest's wife who is there, she gets a dream that their son would be bit by a snake also. She gets up all of a sudden after seeing this dream, but what happens is she just ignores it, saying that it's just a dream that is there, I would have just seen something, and she ignores it. A few days later it seems that really a snake bit the boy, and what happens is sarpakopam, that is a sarpakopam it is called as anger of snakes also. Just as we have different doshas, similarly we have different kopas. Kopaha is anger, and that's when a Brahmin comes to her house. Now before in some references it is said that the snake actually bit the boy, but in some references they say that before the snake actually bit, that is before the sarpakopam even took place, it seems that a Brahmin comes to their house and tells the woman that your son will be bit by a snake also very soon. And to prevent this from happening, now the second edition of the story is before the snake actually biting the boy, that is what is considered more relevant. Yeah, so we'll also go with the same, wherein this Brahmin comes and he warns the lady saying that you should be very very careful. So what you can do is, you fill a water pot that is there, that is the same kindi which is there, with all the gold jewelry that you have, and you keep it covered for about 24 hours or so. That's when the priest's wife, now the priest is not there, he was living in the temple premises and they were in a far off town. So that's when the priest's wife, what she does was, she brings all the jewelry that her husband had bought from the temple, and she fills it in the pot, fills it with water also. And that Brahmana who had come to their house, he had another pot with him, that also he fills with water also. And for one whole day it seems that the Brahmana who was there, he was sitting with both the pots on both sides. He was sitting in between, both the pots were there on either side. And he tells the chief's wife that the next morning, that is it, you check the pot whichever remains. And that's when you would know the reason behind this sarpakopam, that is anger of the snakes, that's going to happen. Next morning what happens is, before the wife of the priest even gets up, the lord who is there, that Brahmana, he takes away that pot which was filled with Bhagavan's jewelry and he leaves the house. The priest wife, she gets up and all of a sudden she sees that the Brahmana is not there. She searches for him. Later she sees the one pot that remains there, and that's when she opens the pot, she sees a small snake that was there inside the pot. She gets very afraid also, and by that time what happens is, the chief priest who is there, he comes home. His period of 6 months was over, and at that time he comes home. He does not know about all this. The wife, as soon as he returns also, she explains all the incidents that had happened, and this priest who was there, he started shedding tears also, and he tells that nobody can fool Guruvayurappan, and I felt that I could fool everybody around me. The Brahmana who came here was none other than the Lord himself, and you are lucky that you could see him, he tells his wife. He tells that I stole all the jewelry or so from the temple, and you just imagine how kind, how the Lord is so compassionate, and that's why we truly call him as Karunamurti. He did not want anybody to know that I am a thief also. That's the reason he does this Leela, and very silently takes away the jewelry also. But then at the same time, he wanted me to know about it, and he also wanted me to know that I am wrong to steal all the gold also. And from this time onwards, what happens is, the devotion that he had towards Guruvayurappan increases a lot. He goes and he tells his story, it seems, to the manager of the temple, and he requests the manager that you please record the story also, so that it can pass on to fellow devotees. That's the reason we also know about this. And he wanted to tell, through this incident, he wanted to tell all the devotees that we might think that nobody knows anything, but the Lord inside us, and Guruvayurappan knows everything that we think. He sees everything that we do, and above all, he shows his karuna. So if we have bhakti also, even if you go on the wrong path, like here it happens in the case of this priest, at times all of us are distracted also, the Lord definitely comes and guides. Name bhakti pranashyati. That's when, even if I fail at times, bhakti that is there will always win over, and the Lord will definitely come to protect all of us. So this is the highlight through this incident and story of this Maheshwaran Nambudri.